Hey guys, so today I'm filming a very exciting video. I'm going to be filming my makeup inventory for 2016. I did do this video last year, which I'll link up here in case you want to check it out. And I've decided that I want to do updates every 6 months because my collection changed so much in 1 year. There were so many products that I purchased and so many products that I used up. I just posted a video on all of the makeup products I used up in 2015, which I'll link up here. I used up 63 items, which retailed for about $535. So I just was so proud that I was able to use up over $500 worth of product in 1 year. That was very exciting for me, especially considering that most of those products were drugstores. So definitely check out that video for all the details. But when I sat down and wrote down all of my numbers, it doesn't look like I used up as much as I did. So that's why I want to do 6-month updates so you guys can really see my collection and how it changes throughout 1 year. For instance, for brow pencils last year, I had 2. I currently have 3. So it looks like I just bought one more, but I used up 4 brow pencils in the year of 2015. So I had purchased a ton of brow products throughout the year, but I did use up quite a few. So that's why I decided that I'm going to do updates every 6 months, which I'm really excited about. I'll also make sure to link other people's makeup inventories down below in case you want to check out more of these videos. I think they're really exciting. I know my friend Amanda from Amanda Alexander was coming up with all of her numbers on her Snapchat the other day, which is really cool to see. I hope she does a video on it. I also recently posted my makeup collection storage for 2016, which I will link up here in case you want to see my whole storage, my whole setup. And I'm also going to be doing collection and overviews for different categories of makeup coming up very soon. So stay tuned for that, for a lot of details about all the products that I have. So for my makeup inventory, I'm going to be telling you guys how many I had in that category last year, how many I have now, my ideal number from last year, and my ideal number for this year. Some categories it's the same, and some categories my ideal number has changed based on the products that I have and just my overall thoughts and feelings on that type of product. So no more blabbering, let's just jump right in. So first, starting with primer, last year I had 3. I currently have 9. I have 3 full size, 3 deluxe travel sizes, 2 free gift with purchase, and 1 mattifying lotion. I have the Lorac Perfection Mattifying Primer, the Bare Minerals Prime Time Neutralizing and Oil Control, Smashbox Photo Finish Primer Water, Smashbox Pore Minimizing Primer, Makeup Forever Matte Primer, Korres Matte Primer, MAC Skin Base Visage, and Boots Expert Instant Matte. My ideal number from last year was 2. My current ideal number is 2. The reason I have so many primers is that I was trying to find my holy grail oil control and pore minimizing primer. I did discover the Smashbox pore minimizing, which is my new favorite. I'm going to stick to this one, but I have yet to find my favorite mattifying primer, which is why I have so many. I'm going to try to work through all of these smaller sizes this year so I can move on to the full size products. Next, for foundation, last year I had 7. I currently have 4, so I did improve in this category. I did declutter some, and I did finish up a couple foundations, and I also purchased a few new ones since last year. So the 4 I have would be Kat Von D Lock It Tattoo, the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless, Estee Lauder Double Wear, and Hard Candy Glamouflage. My ideal number last year would be 2. My current ideal number would be 3. The reason my ideal number went up is because I always want to have this Hard Candy Glamouflage because it is my perfect mixing foundation for anything that is too dark. I also really love these 2 foundations. This one's not my favorite, but I am keeping this one for now. But moving on to concealer, last year I had 4. I currently have 7. Moving on to concealer, last year I had 4. I currently have 7. Now they all have different uses. I have the Lorac Perfection Concealer in Light 2, which I use to neutralize the redness on my cheeks. I have Estee Lauder Double Wear, the Maybelline Better Skin, Maybelline Master Conceal, Boo Boo Cover Up, MAC Pro Longwear, which I use for blemishes, and the MAC Studio Finish Concealer, which I use to clean up my eyeshadow. My ideal number last year was 2 or 3. My ideal number this year is 3 or 4. I always want to have the MAC Pro Longwear for blemishes. I love Studio Finish for cleaning up my shadows. I love this Lorac for helping to cancel out the redness on my cheeks. And then I want to have one under eye concealer. Now moving on to powder. Last year I have 8 and I currently have 9. They all have different uses. I have a priming powder. These are for the under eyes. I have 2 pressed powders for my face, 1 loose powder for my face, and I have 2 touch-up powders. So I have the e.l.f. Prime and Stay Finishing Powder, Wet n Wild Mattifying Powder, Ben Nye Cameo MAC Shaping Powder and Emphasize, my NYX Set It Don't Fret It, 2 different shades of my NYX Stay Matte But Not Flat, Rimmel Stay Matte, and a tester of an Estee Lauder Translucent Double Matte Powder. My ideal number last year was 2 or 3. My current ideal number is 3 or 4. I do not mind having 2 to set the under eye. I don't mind having 1 face powder and 1 touch-up powder. Now moving on to bronzer. Last year I had 4. I currently have 6. I have the Bourjois Chocolate Bronzer, Revlon Photo Ready, my 2 new additions, the Estee Lauder Bronze Goddess in Light, and one of the ColourPop bronzers. I also have a Milani Matte Bronzer and Benefit Hoola. My ideal number last year was 1 or 2. My current ideal number is 2. I'd be okay getting rid of all of these bronzers except for the Revlon Photo Ready and the Benefit Hoola, which are my favorite. Next, moving on to contours. Last year I had 5 singles and 2 in palettes. I currently have 6 singles and 2 in palettes. I have the Balms Bahama Mama Sleek Contour Kit in Light, NYX Blush and Taupe, MAC Sculpting Powder in Sculpt, a new edition of the ColourPop bronzer, and I have a Milani Matte Bronzer. My ideal number last year was 2 or 3. My current ideal number is 3. I can do without these 3, but these 3 here are holy grail to me. They all have great formulas and they all have different undertones that I wear at different times of the year. Moving on to cream blush. Last year I had 3 and I currently have 5. I have a Clinique Chubby Stick for Cheeks, Maybelline Dream Bouncy Blush, Revlon Photo Ready, Sleek Cream to Powder, and e.l.f. Contouring Blush and Bronzer. My new additions would be the Clinique and Sleek. Sleek was sent to me and Clinique was given to me as a gift, so I didn't purchase any with my own money. And my ideal number for this category last year was 0 or 1, and that is still my ideal goal for this category. I do not love cream blushes and I don't reach for them hardly ever. Moving on to ColourPop blushes. This is a new category. Last year I had 0 and I currently have 9. I created this category to help me keep my ColourPop collection in check, and honestly I could do without a couple of these shades, but the rest of them are real favorites of mine. Moving on to powder blush. Last year I had 31 in singles and 8 in palettes. I currently have 36 in singles and 3 in palettes, so I did declutter one of my palettes, and I have decluttered some blushes and gotten some new ones. This is definitely not all of my blushes. I couldn't fit them on this little table, but here's just an array. So I have some Clinique Cheek Pops, I have some drugstore blushes from Wet n Wild, Essence, Sonia Kashuk, Makeup Geek, and the Milani Matte Baked blushes. I have a ton from MAC, I have a few from Tarte, Clinique, a bunch from The Balm, I have an Estee Lauder, so I have a ton of blushes. It is my true weakness. Because it is my weakness, I have no ideal number for this category. Moving on to highlighter. Last year I had 5 individuals and 3 in palettes. I currently have 8 individuals and 3 in palettes. I have the Estee Lauder Heat Wave, the Balm Mary Luminizer, MAC Superb, and Soft and Gentle. Then I have Benefit What's Up, and my 3 new additions, which would be 3 different shades of the ColourPop highlighters. My ideal number for this category was 2 or 3 last year, and my current ideal number is 3. I really love Heat Wave, Mary Luminizer, and Superb. I could do without the rest. My last category for face is a new category this year, and it would be facial sprays. Last year I had these 2 right here, and I currently have 4. So I have the MAC Fix Plus Mary Kay Setting Spray, e.l.f. Matte Magic Mist and Set, and a little deluxe of the Urban Decay All Nighter Spray. I would love to have 0 or 1 setting sprays. I don't feel like they do much for me. Now moving on to brow products. For brow wax, last year I had 1. I currently have 1, and that was my goal for both years. Next, for eyebrow pencils, last year I had 2. I currently have 3. I have one from L'Oreal, e.l.f., and NYX. My ideal number last year would be 2, and my current ideal number is also 2. For brow pomades, last year I had 2. I currently have 4. I have one from Anastasia, e.l.f., Milani, and NYX. My ideal number last year was 2. 2. My current ideal number is 0 or 1. That's because I just don't really enjoy brow pomade type products. I have decided last year for brow powder I had 5. I currently have 2. I have the Lorac Take a Brow Kit in Blonde and my MAC eyeshadow in Omega. My goal last year was 1 and my current goal is 2. I really like having both of these because Omega is more cool tone and the Lorac is more warm tone, and I like having both of those options. Next, for brow highlight, last year I had 2. I currently have 1, which is the NYX Jumbo Pencil in Milk, and my ideal number last year and this year is 1. Lastly, for brow gel, last year I had 1. I currently have 3. As you can see, 2 are unopened. I have the NYX Tinted Brow Mascara in Blonde, Anastasia Clear Brow Gel, and the L'Oreal Brow Stylist Plumper. My ideal number for this category last year was 1. My current ideal number is 1 or 2 because I don't mind having a tinted and a clear option. Next, moving on to the eye categories, starting with eye primer. Last year I had 3 and I currently have 3. I've been working on the Milani all year long. It's finally almost done. My ideal number last year was 1 and my current ideal number is 1. Next, moving on to cream shadow in pots. Last year I had 18. I currently have 16 and I did declutter a few of those, and I do not have an ideal number for this category. Now moving on to cream shadow sticks. Last year I had 8 and I currently have 10. My original 8 were all of my Milani Shadow Eyes pencils, which are my favorite. And my newest additions would be the L'Oreal, which was a gift, and the Bobbi Brown, which was a 100-point perk. I do not have an ideal number for this category. Moving on to single shadows. Last year I had 14. I currently have 18. So I did declutter a bunch and I did purchase quite a few more. Also, last year my 4 Makeup Geek shadows were mentioned in my single shadows. Now, because I have more, I have them all in a Z palette and they're mentioned with my large palettes. I do not have an ideal number for this category. My next category is a new one. It is my ColourPop shadows, and that is to keep my collection in check. This is just a small selection of the ColourPop shadows I have. Last year I had 15 and I currently have 39. I do not have an ideal number for this category, but I would like to declutter and use up some of these shades and try not to buy a lot more. Moving on to my next category of trios, quads, and small palettes. Last year I had 5. I currently have 8. My friend Grace sent me these 3. I do not have an ideal number for this category. My next category would be large palettes. Last year I had 15. I currently have 21. 2 of them I received from Sleek. 1 of them I got as a Christmas gift. And then right here are all of my single shadows that became large palettes. So I have Makeup Geek, Estee Lauder, and Anastasia Beverly Hills. I do not have an ideal number for this category. Moving on to liners, starting with liquids. Last year I had 1. I currently have 4. I have a NYX white liner, Jordana Essence and Physicians Formula black liner. My ideal number for last year was 1. My current ideal number is 1 or 2. I'm okay having a black and a white. For pencil liner, last year I had 8. I currently have 11. I did use up some liners, but I also purchased some new ones. I have ColourPop, L'Oreal, MAC, Urban Decay, Clinique, and a couple other brands. Then I added a new category of gel liner. Last year I had 0. I currently have 4 and they are from ColourPop. I do not have an ideal number for this category. Next, moving on to mascara. Last year I had 7. I currently have 19 and only 5 of them are full size. All of the rest are deluxe sample sizes. I didn't purchase any of these. All of these came free with orders or they were 100-point perks. I have 3 open mascaras and 2 unopened full-size mascaras. My ideal number for this category last year was 3. My current ideal number is 3 open, and then I'm okay having extras. I really do want to try to work through these this year. Basically what I'm going to do to work through my collection is try it. If I don't like it, I'm going to get rid of it instead of pushing through, because I'm afraid these other mascaras might dry out even though they haven't been opened yet. Next, moving on to the lip categories. I'm starting with lip liners. Last year I had 8. I currently have 10. I did declutter my NYX retractable lip liners, but I purchased more from ColourPop. I also have a NYX Wonder Pencil I use as a reverse lip liner and a Milani clear lip liner. I do not have an ideal number for this category. Next, moving on to lipsticks. Last year I had 27. I currently have 24. I did use up my 3 Revlon lip butters, and I did declutter my 3 Maybelline Rebel Blooms. Then I purchased these 2 Milani Moisture Mattes and this 1 Clinique lipsticks. Next, we have a new category that I added for only my ColourPop Lippie sticks. Last year I had 7. I currently have 27. I do not have an ideal number for this category, but I would like to go through, declutter some, and use up some of these. Moving on to jumbo lip crayons. Last year I had 21 and I currently have 15. I did use up one and I decluttered a bunch of them. Now I just have my favorites. I have my Tarte Matte Lip Surgeons, my Revlon Matte Balms, Revlon Just Bitten Kissable Balm Stains. I have a Wet n Wild Balm Stains, 4 of my MAC Patent Polishes, and I have a NARS Velvet Matte Lip Pencil. My next category is a new addition as well. This is liquid lipsticks. Last year I had 0 and now I have 20. So I definitely want to try to work through these and declutter some. Lastly, for lip products, I have my lip glosses. Last year I had 18. I currently have 23. I have my NYX Butter Glosses, some Anastasia lip glosses, some from Dose, some from Lorac, MAC, Buxom, and Bare Minerals. I do not have ideal numbers for any of my lip product categories, but I don't want to overgrow my storage either. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have a makeup inventory, please let me know so I can go check it out. Please rate, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.